What's up, sales reps? What's up, YouTube, I guess, anybody watching? So I guess um obviously I'm trying to figure out what is gonna be the system I have to develop for myself to become predictable and to become elite, to reach the 10 to 20 to 30K a month consistency and obviously cracking the code on sales and becoming really a great salesperson because I do feel like I do have some innate talents. I'm pretty good at a certain amount of things, but when there is no process, when there is no logic, I'm not elite. So I was like making this sort of like this is the call flow where typically, by the way, this is fully NAPQ style. I do have the black book as one of the resources of my current offer. So it's kind of cool. I was reading that and feel like this is kind of the process I've been able to make in terms of how you want the call to flow. And to kind of, I would just, and that's what I wanted to, break down in this video, just show you what I'm trying to kind of dial in on and become the sales closer, sales rep, capable of closing at a 60, 70% close rate. And now I see nothing like 10, 20, 30, 40K a month. And then obviously scaling that skill set into something different and continuing the wealth building journey. It all starts internally. You have to make those changes and begin that. So I guess to kind of really break down this flow, which I do hope it's yeah, it is visible and we'll go through it. It's very simple. I guess if I can grab one of the markers, it's gonna be more easy. So the first thing, obviously rapport. Now, this is like an interesting zone because I'll say this on rapport. I think with rapport, you don't want that, how's the day going? How are you doing and stuff. When I say rapport, what I really mean by this is, that first impression, getting somebody to laugh, um, crack that kind of ice with on like a human to human level, because then you're going to get realer, more genuine answers down the line, making the process easier. Because if somebody here already kind of establishes, I'm not going to open up this guy, it's going to cause resistance down the kind of the downstream. So I think rapport really what it is like 1 minute 30 seconds. If it's like a funny background, hey, I love the picture, man. I was like, if it's a cute dog, hey, it's a cute dog there. What do you got? And then you can kind of make that kind of a funny transition, and then moving into right away the current situation, which would be kind of okay in the context of selling fitness. Hey, it looks like you booked this game plan call to actually figure out how you can lose the 20 kilograms. Is that so? What made you look out for investing into yourself and changing this right now? And then you can obviously dive into the current situation. What are the contingencies? What are you dealing with? Then you go into the problem awareness phase, which result right after the current situation, where I would say here you want to get the emotional digging of the emotional impact. Think about this: current situation is the logistics. What's the problems we're dealing with, and then boom, problem awareness. What's the deeper problems we're kind of suffering because of this? What are the impacts this issue is having? Then once we actually find out the kind of the key thing from this, we go into the solution awareness, which is okay. We know the logistical and the emotional side of things. What is going to be the difference in terms the logistical and emotional kind of holy grail when you actually change? So solution awareness, you just desired state, and what's waiting for the prospect once they overcome their problems. Then we go into the consequence questions where, okay, that's all good and well, but as we know, people do end up being in these positions. So it is important we speak about that. What are going to be the consequences on X, Y, and Z if you stay at this weight? What are going to be the limiting beliefs you're carrying right now? Not changing any of this. As you're addressing limiting beliefs and addressing the consequence here, so we can build urgency to actually take action and do something about this. And then once the consequence is actually covered, we're just going to the qualifying questions. We're going to, tie them down. What is the importance of taking action in your eyes today on this call, so they can justify, well, it's because this and this, and they can kind of tie themselves down to the idea of, hey, this call should serve as something where I make a change. Then we go into the transition where you just connect. Okay, again, if it's a fitness offer, hey, those 20 kilos, your daughter, your friends, your family, they're going to look better at you because in the next 6 months, we do have a game plan ready for you to actually help you out in getting to your goals. You do want to place like an emotional anchor to the solution itself, meaning, okay, from everything you told me in the beginning stage of the call, there is a fix and your wife is going to look at your difference. So let's actually dive into that so you can in those 6 months achieve the body you're actually pursuing. So making that transition into the presentation itself where it's very feedback driven and it is specific to them, meaning I think the presentation should be the shortest. It should not be long, like 10, 15 minutes max of the call. And it's obviously going to be connected to their struggles. So within the current situation, within the problem awareness, solution awareness, seeing what they're doing with kind of specific things, presenting the solution to each and every dose. If they're overeating, we're going to control those habits. If you're struggling with the workout routines, we're going to build you those to make sure you kind of have something to stick to. Connecting it all to their problems so it feels customized, and also seeking feedback. What do you think? Do you feel like this is going to help you? Is there anything you would like to add on this? And then boom, once that is done, you go into the commitment. So everything we spoke about today, how do you feel? Do you feel like this is going to get you from 80 kilos to 60 kilos in the next 6 months by committing to do this, this, and this? And they're going to say obviously yes, no, whatever. You just want to get them to commit. So obviously if they, and most people will say yeah, Philip, because yeah, Philip, whatever anybody's name is, being a closer on a call. But most people will say yes in terms of do they believe the solution will work, because you make it custom anyway. It's about getting the commitment that, hey, are we gonna wander around anymore, or are we gonna do something about it? So they can commit and say, yeah, Philip, let's go. What are the next steps? And then in the next steps, you outline the onboarding process. You collect the payment. Boom, the call should be done there. Obviously, if objections arise before the payment, always, this is what I kind of got from the big faces in this industry. So, hey, totally get that, man. I guess if money wasn't in the picture, would you actually get started today? Um, yeah, I would. And then obviously, but what would you specifically? What about the program you think is going to really work in helping you shutting off the 20? Um, getting the getting them to double tie down themselves, because before we assume any reason why they're giving you an objection, whatever it is, we want to eliminate that they believe that the solution itself is invalid. And then obviously, when they double tie down themselves, we want to isolate what's really going on, man. Congruency of what we spoke about says that the next step is to make a decision to start. So we have to isolate why they're not wanting to start in this call. Could be multiple things, but whatever it is, I did not have enough space on this board for like objections. But when I isolate the specific objection, you want to solve it. You want to give them the binary persona where, hey man, there's two types of people in these situations. The one that actually takes action on something that makes sense and is going to change their life. And the second one is the one that kind of procrastinates the decision, wants to look around and think, even though it's pretty obvious from what we spoke, it's going to help you out. Now, word of kind of genuine advice is, what do you think is going to be the person that succeeds in the next 6 months with their goal? Person A that takes action, or person B that kind of wants to think about things, or go think it over? This is kind of a black and white comparison where they want to kind of buy themselves into the new identity. Where, okay, so if you have to start operating from if you have to start operating from the new identity of you having lost the 20 kilos and becoming this new person, what would they do right now? Would they make the decision to begin, or would they actually take their time to think about anything? And then obviously when they step into the new persona, you go into a commitment again and you collect the money. Or if something new comes up, again, you go back into isolating, solving, using analogies to really make sure that across the board, and that's it, you're getting the person to actually make the first step. Man, sales. So this is the thing I want to be very kind of cautious about. I recognize that sales is it is a skill. Like, it is a skill. Um, but you don't want to overcomplicate the skill itself. You want to make it very simple. So when you make the decisions that are going to change somebody's life, it has to be very concise and obviously digestible for you as well. So this being the flow of the conversation is pretty cool. Um, I have to become more process driven because I feel like the way I've been selling so far has been very kind of consultative, where um, I come on these calls, hey man, how can I help you? What's going on? And then we're just gonna figure the whole thing out. Um, you don't need to follow the rigidness of this as well. Like it's not necessary, but I think covering all these things will be important because in 45 minutes to help somebody change, I think touching these 4 to 5 bases is it is kind of something that has to be done. Guys, that's what I wanted to share today. It's actually one of that is the NAPQ method in terms of the flow. Um, I have to get good at that, so I, you know, gotta continue honing my skills. Actually, you know what? When I reflect back on my life 6 months ago to where I have been able to come, it's impressive. But let's take it from here. Let's go to a place that it's gonna be levels uh, above this current state. I have to get better. I have to get more consistent. I have to work on myself in terms of communication skills, persuasion skills, confidence, self mastery, discipline. So we're all in it. We're all learning. We're all getting better. And I think that's the confidence I want to carry to the call with the prospect so they can see that authenticity. And I think that's what helped me so far close so many deals, like over 100K US dollars so far, and I'm only getting started. So guys, all the best. Yeah, I'm gonna keep posting. I have to discipline myself more. So this is one and more to come. I want to actually figure out YouTube as well to become more kind of more quality driven content where I can really take my time and enjoy making these videos, and they can be something that's going to generate a personal kind of brand around myself. So yeah, all the best. Talk soon.